This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Hello everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, Ji.
Thank you for joining this VUG India online event. And today we are going to talk about Veeam Backup RO 365. So we do have an agenda prepared. Let me go over that. So we'll talk about Veeam user community about it. And we will have a VUG India introduction. We'll talk about VUC user groups. And we'll cover why M365 backup is important. And then cover Veeam backup for M365 version 8 into the future. And then we'll have go over about Entra ID backups and it's important. And then Jigar will cover Veeam Data Cloud and then demo about it. And then finally we have some Q&A so we can have some time to answer your questions. So I'm not sure how many of you already part of this community group, so the Veeam Community Resource Hub, it's a platform where all these users, Veeam users and IT professionals, all the Veeam partners and Veeam customers, they all come together to share knowledge and collaborate and discuss all things about the Veeam. So this is a place where you can able to learn a lot of things about the Veeam and discuss general things about data and business continuity, anything in and out everything of Veeam and the business continuity platform. We do have a community blocks within this resource hub where the Veeam experts will share the real world tips and tutorials and the use cases and how to do things on a best practice. So from their experience and they how implemented. So from other side of world how others doing. So people share and document the blogs. So where you can get a benefit from the community blogs. We do have a discussion forum where you can able to post your questions, or you can just post your error message, whatever you go through, part of your day-to-day work and in any during setup. So people in the community will come together and offer a help. They try to help you and they'll try to guide you how to do best practice. In case of error, they can able to know if they've gone through the same error and they will help you how to fix the same some errors that you're facing. And if something require a support team involvement, they will ask you to reach out a support. Most of the time, they will offer you at the first level. They can able to get it resolved without reaching out a support on an immediate basis. And we already have user groups. User groups is focusing on local community. So this is a specific one for every regions. Like we do have a one for India, which is VUG India. And like that, there are a lot of user groups for security, and we do have for cyber security, and we have for other regions as well. So there is an individual group available, and we do update about whatever happening in that region, like this online events or community meetups and physical meetings. So we will keep this community updated within this user group. So what are happening in India in particular region or what are happening within India, we'll put Veeam and then we'll keep you posted about that Veeam user group for India. And we do have recognition programs. So all these active members and whatever their contribution, based on the contributions, we will get you can able to get a badges, and also you can be part of Veeam Legend program, Veeam Vanguard programs, or you can able to join Veeam 100 network. So I'm not sure how many of you know that already Veeam Legend or Veeam Vanguard. So this is a very elite program that you can be involved in a top level of technical program. You'll be invited to explore and trial this Veeam technologies, Veeam products before the releases. So you'll be get exclusive access to the programs, and then you'll be get access to a top R&D team, and then you'll product members directly. So it's an elite community where everybody come together and then work together and to share the knowledge and contribute more to this community. And you can grow your skill. So keeping this updated and then keeping this involved activity, and you learn about best practice and you learn about what is others doing this Veeam and what updated technology best Veeam and how they using all other tools like how they're monitoring Veeam, how they're making this automation. So all the stuff you can learn from it and you can implement on your own, and you can get this utilize this community club. So like I said mentioned previously, we do have VUG India. So this is a dedicated user group for India. So where all the users and Veeam customers, Veeam partners in India, so they can be part of this VUG India group. So where we'll keep this updated and we'll have more often virtual or in-person meetups. We do have one meetup in a previously December, and we conducted one successful event in an online event. We talked about disaster recovery and best practice, and then how to do session. And this is our second event. So today we'll talk about O365. So we'll have often in-person meeting or online meetings will be updated, and we'll keep this posted in this community. So I would recommend everybody is to part of this Veeam India community group, and I will share with you everybody on this link after this meeting, and so you can able to join from there. And you have opportunity to interact with Veeam employees or Veeam members directly in this group. So today we have Jigar with me. Like that, we'll bring more industry experts to this online events, and we'll bring Veeam employees, Veeam SEs to these events. So you'll get access to them, interact. We'll able to get in touch and collaborate with them directly. So we'll talk about Veeam Backup for O365. So before talk about backup, so let's begin with the need of M365 backups, and why we require a backup of your M365, and talk about shared responsibility model. So if you look at a CSP and a SaaS provider, like a CSP, the cloud service provider, and the SaaS provider model, they're responsible limited to provide uptime for their cloud services and their applications. So they are responsible to keep their platform up and running all the time, and then their infrastructure security. So if Microsoft M365 goes down in India, the service will get up and running from probably in other regions, like example Singapore or nearby geolocations. So they do have a DC to DC geo redundancy. So their service will be up and running from always. If the one DCs go down, it can go up and run by other the available DCs. But it's not the same for your data. So data is your responsibility. So Microsoft responsible for these services, whereas you are responsible for your data. So Microsoft not going to protect your data, not going to back up of your data. So in terms of that a lot of breach can happen to your data, right? So there can be accident or deletions, or it can be malicious insider attacks. There are a lot of incidents we have seen. People get delete your important documents, or people delete wipe out your important data or important files in a OneDrive. It's kind of tampering the evidence. So there are a lot of things can happen to destroy your data. So none of the things can be protected, or Microsoft help you to Microsoft will protect it by default. That's all fall in your responsibility. And there are some native Microsoft native recovery. It's not 100% of backup. Like you have 30 days of recycle, but that's not an actual backup. That's not an actual way of restoring data. Then in case if you lost access after 30 days, those data will cannot be recovered forever. So you are responsible of data as you are the data owner. So without having a backup of your M365, you don't have full control of your own data, and you are exposed to this all these secure vulnerabilities. There is any fine day, then you get a ransomware attack and your infra get wiped out. And also you are not having a copy of your data. You're exposed to the regulatory compliance, and then there's a lot of gaps on your retention points, and then data availability. So talking about all this, now we know why it's important to take a backup of your M365 data. So let's see how Veeam is going to help to protect your M365 data. So it's all about this all about eliminating the data, eliminating the risk of losing your data. So Veeam will help you to take up your Exchange Online, which is like a mailbox data backup, SharePoint Online backup, and you can back up your OneDrive for business, or even for your Teams data, Team chats, and your Exchange on-premise backup. If it's a hybrid, you can able to take a backup of your hybrid setup, Exchange on-prem and SharePoint on-premises as well. So with a Veeam, you can able to protect your all M365 infrastructure, including hybrid. So Veeam will give you full control of your data, which include of your Exchange Online, SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams data all together. And this will give you flexibility of this will give you flexibility of data continuity, as well as secure from all these ransomware incidents or accidental deletions, all the security threats. So this will also give you flexibility of multiple restore options. You can able to restore all your O365 items or your files easily back to on-prem as well as back to your O365 with the multiple restore options. Either you can restore as individual files, or you can also restore as a bulk objects back to your on-prem. There's a lot of flexible option available, which we'll cover in upcoming slides. Um, You'll also meet a legal and compliant requirement with a e-discovery as well as search functions, which also will cover in upcoming slides. So what makes Veeam O365 it's a top solution for your M365 backup? So Veeam is a hardware and software storage agnostic product. You can deploy a Veeam in any platform you want to deploy. Either it can be on-prem, or it can be cloud, or it can be as a service model as well. So this will allow you to deploy and store data wherever you want. It can be cloud and local, it can be on-premise hardware, or it can be a cloud data, it can be any S3 compatible provider. So you can store data anywhere you want. So this also give you flexibility of not going on any lock-in period you have with the hardware vendor, any storage vendor. You can store, you can migrate anywhere anytime you want. Let's say you have an AWS or Azure today. If you want to move to some other platform is compatible, you can move anytime anywhere you want it. So we must give you lowest RPO as low as of 5 minutes, and you can able to configure backups for a frequent of days or frequent of hours, or it go as long as 5 minutes. This also give you flexibility of low different tiers of backups. So you can have multiple backup tiers, a backup policy you can define for high critical users. You can RPO low as 5 minutes. For low critical users, you can go hourly basis or per day, once in a day. So this will give you flexibility of having this all this tailored backup policy. So we must give you a lot of flexibility in terms of restore. So there are 50 plus recovery option available in Microsoft or Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365. You can able to get a more granular recovery as well as a bulky recovery option available, and you can able to save locally, or you can export into different users at different locations, or you can able to zip as a file you can download and upload into somewhere, you can download it later. So there's a lot of multiple options available in terms of restore. I will show you in another slide about what are the functions available restore. So the powerful search. So it's a legal or compliance if you want to access any of your historical emails from your O365. So from the backups. So we can leverage Veeam to search all the files you required. So without going through individual mails or going to checking individual items to one by one to restore. So single search, you can able to pull through all this data from all this available restore points. We can go back to point in time previously. You can get this in a single view. So with the Veeam Explorer, you have an option to restore of Microsoft 365 items. It's a different ways and different format. So for an example, your Exchange Online for email, you can able to restore, save locally, or you export into different user mailbox. Let's say from one user item, you just download, export item from one mailbox to other mailbox. You can able to do that. Or if you want to export as a PST, you can do that. If you want to download attachment from single email, you can do that. Same goes for OneDrive data. So you can able to attach, download a single file, or if you want to zip the entire folder, a download. So there are multiple ways you can able to use Exchange, the Veeam Explorer for multiple ways you can leverage that and, as a restore functionality.
Hey, Mohammed. So basically, if I am a manager and there are two subordinates working under me, one left the organization, could I be able to restore this data in another mailbox?
Exactly, that's possible.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So let's see the features of V365, M365 version 8 and the Veeam. Uh, so with a single deployment, we can able to protect your M365 as well as your on-prem infrastructure if it's a hybrid. So you can protect your Exchange online, SharePoint online, all this M365 online as well as a hybrid. And also it's like a agnostic model, so you can able to deploy in any product as well as you can leverage any of the storage vendor you want to use. And for the local copy, you can leverage on-premise storage as well as any S3 compatibility that you have as a single copy. And with the version 8, we can also have option to enable storage immutability with the first level of copy itself. So previously, you can able to have immutability on a second copy. With the version 8, we can able to get this first copy also immutable, which means you can no one can able to tamper or can able to edit or delete any of your backup data from first copy itself. And you can have a second copy of, like always, having two copy of your data. So you can use either Microsoft Azure Blob Storage or S3 Glacier or any S3 compatible storage. So you can send us copy of your existing data to secondary destination. You can maintain a secondary copy. And the recovery options. So like we covered previously, so there are multiple ways of recovery available. So with the Veeam Explorer of Microsoft Exchange, you can able to restore a single mail, or you can restore an entire mailbox, or you can restore as a single attachment, or you can as a zip file, you can export to multiple locations. And same goes for a Veeam Explorer for a SharePoint or for a OneDrive and Microsoft Teams. You can able to restore item level for a bulk level restore from across all these available items here. And then we do have a self-service portal available, and you can have to restore the individual items from the console directly without having dependent on the administrator. So if you are the mailbox user, you can go on, you can leverage that having end user directly restore items from the portal if you if you provide delegate access to them. With the vMonitor, you can able to monitor the entire infrastructure as a single dashboard. So see how your backup policies, how your retention policies are coming up as per RTO are in place or not, and then your backup report of your storage utilization. So all these things you can able to monitor from the Veeam one. So Veeam one can have also you can leverage multiple things with the Veeam one. Part of the bundle, you can also monitor the Veeam Backup for M365. So you can have a real-time alerts and real-time insights on what is going on with your infrastructure. All right. So we'll talk about Entra ID backups. So Entra ID, it's known as Microsoft Azure, right? So let's talk about why you need a backup of Azure. So what are the business risk of not having Azure backup? So Entra ID, it's known as a Azure Active Directory. So Azure Active Directory, it's a source of data for M365. Right? It's contains a lot of data about M365. So it contains user, it contains conditional access policy, security controls of application, what's to do, and all this information about M365. So if you talk about M365 and Azure AD, it's kind of act like it's Brian. It's contain all the data of M365. So without Brian, like M365, it's not going to function properly. So everything M365 knows, it comes from the Azure AD. So for an example, if you take about any user, the user attributes. So what is the username? So the user security groups. What are the user I'm belong to? What are the permissions that I do have? All the information comes from the Azure. So that's very important. You to have a backup of your Azure. And for an example, conditional access policy, right? So conditional access policy define, force users to have an MFA, and you can define based on location wise. So these are location allowed you to access your infrastructure, allowed you to access your OneDrive, allowed you to access your Teams meetings. And these are locations like you restrict people accessing from the locations. If your business doesn't have access to from other location, you don't want them to allow from that location to access your OneDrive or Teams. So these are important functions and security features. So if you lose access to them, then there is no way you can get access back to your infrastructure. There is a lot of disaster can happen. Employee lose access to system, and this will also impact a lot of productivity, and people have to wait to recover, and then you have to rebuild it. Otherwise, if you don't have a data backup, and then it's not only your employee, customer can access your services if you're a service provider company, and this will also lead to a lot of frustrations, right? And even if any misconfiguration, if any of your administrator misconfigure the existing policy, or any accidental deletions, or even cyber attacks, right? Even if the cyber attacks wipe out your entire infrastructure information, just wipe out our all the security policies or conditional access, everything all together, and that's going to be a big disaster. And right, without having a point in restore, and then it's impossible for you to get access back to rebuild the entire infrastructure. So with the Veeam Entra Backup, you can able to back up your entire Azure AD infrastructure, including users, including groups, including device objects, or including membership of the users, membership of the groups, and policies, much more. So you can able to back up entire thing on Azure AD with using Veeam Entra Backup. You can do granular restore, like previously for M365 with the Entra ID as well. You can do granular restore. You can restore individual users, or you can able to restore entire groups, or you can restore a certain policy that got deleted, right? So those things you're able to restore as a granular level without having to rebuild from the scratch. By doing that, you will have a threat visibility, right? You can able to compare what happened previously and what happened now. Like if anything changes which is not working properly, or any if you see malicious, you can able to go back and see how it was previously, how the policy was, like how the conditional access policy was done before. From the backup, you can pull it and see what was changed and what is currently. So you can able to have a visibility on your existing infrastructure. This can be helpful in case if you investigate any threat activity happen to your infrastructure, right? This also go back to point in time restore. So they have multiple retention you have available. So this will give you flexibility of timeline. You can have go back and see, let's say you want to restore back from previous day or previous week or previous month. You can see what happened, till the time. So this will give you flexibility on this restore functionality. You can automate this backup. So like previously, you can configure as everything as a schedule. You can define a backup policy. How often do you want to take a backup of your intra? So there's a very flexibility with automation, and then it's once it is configured, it's easy to go. This will make it automated to backup. And this will give you flexibility, and this will also give you security compliance, right? Having your data and having your infra protector, right? This also give you security and compliance enabled. And in case of anything happen, you can able to quickly recover back from your intra backup, if it's an application or if any application registration, or can be any users, or it can be security group. You can easily restore from intra ID within a minute, and then go back to business as usual. So I have a recorded demo of Veeam Entra ID Backup. Let's watch this. So I'll start from here. So can I have Entra ID Backup available or existing Veeam Backup application console? To choose our Entra ID Backup, so where you have to enter your tenant ID from here. So tenant ID basically you can able to get it from your Azure Active Directory portal. So let's show this how to get it. So if you click there, it will take you to automatically your Entra ID in Azure Active Directory. So if you go to identity on the left side, you will see your tenant ID. You will copy your tenant ID here, then go back here and paste the tenant ID and click next. You can have a cache location for your metadata. And then you have to create a new account to register Entra ID with your Veeam Backup. Or if you have existing account, you can leverage that. But let's go with the existing new account here. So the authentication, this is going to use a modern authentication here. So you don't have to input your credentials. So basically, if you log into O365, Veeam will going to give you an authentication code. So to having entered this authentication code, so Veeam will able to get an access to our Azure portal automatically. So you'll give a permission to access Veeam to access your Azure portal. So as soon as you've done that, Veeam can able to communicate with your Azure portal using that ID, and then start accessing it and then pull the data from there. So now the Entra ID added successfully. So from here, you can able to define the backups. So you can go to configure backups tenant wise, or you can also configure logs. So there is two options available. You can configure a backup job for entire objects available in tenant. You can configure a backup job for just for logs, for all the security logs or events as a separate job. So name the job and choose the tenant which we already added here. And then you can define a retention policy here. How many days you want to retain your Entra ID backups. So you can increase from 7 days to a month period, however long you want to maintain it. I'll just skip this one. So you can also encrypt your Entra ID backup. And then you run the job automatically, choosing that define when you want to trigger the backup every day. So once you finish this, our Entra backup will begin as per your schedule. And you'll configure another backup for a log backup for all your events and secured logs. We'll choose the tenant which we already will have configured. And then we'll choose the backup location repository, which is going to be either local, or if you want to have any object storage or any offset storage available here. And define how many days you want to maintain the log backup here. Same goes, you can able to also enable encryption for the log backup as well. And you can use a compression level, you can leave that default. These are some standard, you don't require it here. And then schedule the jobs when you want to trigger it. So if you look at Entra backups completed successfully, if you read this, so it's accessing your Entra ID and then looking up of all the objects here, and then access the locations and everything, applications and groups, and then user collections and the roles. So everything it has access to it. It start backing up, And then if you look at the last thing, so it's applying retention policy because this is a first backup. There's no retention policy applied. But if you have more than 7 days, if it's going to be eighth policy, 8th day backup, then previous day going to be appended with the current one, and then it's going to be give you a final message backup is completed. To go to restore, you'll come back to the available backups on the disk. So you will see Entra ID backup is available and the available retention points. You'll right click restore. You'll click the restore. It will prompt you to enter the Entra ID credential. Like after choosing the what we want to restore. So whether you want to restore backup from the user, if you want to restore a group, or entire OU or any application registration, you can select whatever you want to restore. So for example, selecting a user, you can go back full restore or you can do comparison. So from here, you're able to go back on the previous point and restore. So to whatever, it will show, it's going to show you the latest one. But if you want to go back a previous day, you can just click next or previous. So it will go back and forth to whatever retention points you are looking for. So if you look at this current user, which we are trying to restore, this will show you what is the latest available record and what was the previous record. So you can see on this on the attribute here, so what was there previously and what is currently. So you will see what got changed. So if something is not intentional, you can able to restore and then go back how it was previously. So select a restore. So now this is going to ask you to log into the Azure portal for authentication. It's the same step with the code, you have to do modern authentication. For a demo purpose, here we are deleting the user from here. So this account got deleted. So now we'll go back to Veeam and then try to restore the particular user. So the permission required to restore the user. So you'll give access permission for the Veeam to restore the user back to the intra. So during the restore, you can able to define you want to overwrite or if you want to just skip some of the information. Those information you're able to mention here part of the restore. So there are some options available to reset the password, but those you can able to do from directly in Entra, but I mean from Azure, but those options also available here to do. So you can preserve all the memberships and all this group, everything together. So this is your final summary, what you are going to do, user restore, all this detailed information about it. Okay, now the backup is completed. It's in progress, okay. Okay, now it's success. You can blow the logs. It's accessing the Entra ID and then it's restoring back to users. Okay, so now he checking the users. Now the same user available here. It was previously deleted.
Yeah.
So if you want to restore your logs from Entra, you can able to do that as well. So if you just explore this, you will see all this option based on the retention points you have here. So there are all these audit logs available here, and there are all the sign-in logs available here. So these are all important security logs, right? So you can see and go back and restore whatever the logs information you want to require from the point in time. Okay, okay, that's all the demo. Hope that helps.
Yeah. No. Awesome.
All right.
I'm only left with like 12 minutes. I
I'm
hope.
sorry for the late. We got some time and previously, I mean, at the very beginning. Uh,
Yeah. So I'll do a kickstart, and obviously I'll not waste your more time, people. Okay. Please bear
no
with us
problem.
for like 5 minutes more. Yeah.
That's fine. So the Jigar will take over the Veeam Data Cloud for the M365.
Yeah. So I'll do one thing. I'll share my screen. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, share your screen.
Yeah.
I'll stop my sharing.
Sure. Thank you. So I hope my screen is visible now.
I'm not sure. Hold on a second.
Is it
You have to.
visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So yeah, this is nothing but the same what the backup you have taken, like what Mohammed is talking about since on M365 backups, okay, where you are responsible to create the whole infra to manage the customer data and the accountability, okay. So now the Veeam has introduced its own backup as a services, okay. So as of now, what you are handling the infrastructure now, the Veeam would help you to do that by your own, okay. It's just a simple backup as a services kind of stuff. Okay, so okay, I'm able to hear my own echo. Just a minute. I hope I am audible now. Yeah. Okay. So if you see this from the sources of Veeam Data Protection Trends of 2024 reports, okay. So 88% of the organizations are very likely to utilize BAS within next 2 years. So we can understand this M365 is a low hanging fruit right now. Okay, we should grab this opportunity because when we see the Gartner report of 2024, 75% of the enterprises, okay, are only taking back, like they are only interested, 15% of the enterprises are only interested taking the SaaS backups, which will gradually increase to 75% by 2028. It is already expected, because as of now the terminology between the service uptime and the backup data responsibility was not clear with the customers. Okay, but now we have to make them aware that the service uptime is the Microsoft responsibility, but the data is our own responsibility, and we have to take a backup appropriately. Okay, so with Veeam, we are like set at better protection for SaaS backups. Okay, and the faster recovery, like 10x or something, you can still achieve, because see, in whatever region your Microsoft M365 resides, in that particular region you can select your own bucket. So basically you have to select your own region, and usually that backup happens in the Azure blob cold storage only. So we help you to choose your own location where your backup should reside to minimize the RPU. Okay, so this is no longer new news in a market. Like we are like 15 years of collaboration with the Veeam plus Microsoft, and we have a 5 years of strategic partnership with the Veeam to co-innovate in the backup as a services kind of protections, and we are finding about. Okay, so we are a gold Microsoft partners. So there are 8 benefits of backup as a services for M365. Simple data protections. If I show you a dashboard, it is like simple GUI. Okay, if you are able to operate the social media applications, you will be surely able to operate this particular same GUI. Okay, it is nothing command line, nothing all that thing. Over the clicks, like within the 5 clicks, you will able to create the backup policy. Within next 5 clicks, you will able to restore your data. It's that simple. Okay, time and money saved. That is, but always in a backup as
Jigar,
a
Jigar, we still can see your first slide, right? I mean, you unshare and reshare. You're still on that, the shift to backup services slide.
okay. So sorry. Able to see my screen now?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we're just seeing benefits of backup service.
Okay, 8 benefits of backup services, right?
Yes.
Okay. So all inclusive services, unlimited storage, that's an USP. Maintenance security will be handled by the Veeam itself. Compliance governance, when we come with this particular word, all your backups are immutable for the particular retention period what you define. For example, in general, kept the standard as in 4 years minimum. For the pharmaceutical kind of sector, they resides for 7 years. It depends sector to sectors, but yeah, for that whole period, your data will be immutable. Okay, so the next slide is Veeam Data Cloud for M365, trusted industry leading technology. Yeah, so nowadays, like we do not require to explain the end users what is Veeam. Now they are aware. Now we are just going to make them appear like what we have extended more and where we are expanding ourselves. Okay, modern and secure intuitive, everything is included in this Veeam Data Cloud. So all your accountability of the customer data now it will be taken by us when it comes to Veeam Data Cloud. And even for some of the RFPs, where you see that customers require that my data accountability should rise with the OEM. So this can help you to achieve that as well. So over a decade of continuous innovations and a key Microsoft M365 backup partner we are. So we are at the gold level of Microsoft partnerships. So this is like intuitive AI, just an click on, and no means of IT expert is required. Easy to create your backup jobs, store your data as per your preference, where you want to store in which region you want to store your data, along with all the security measures like encrypted backups, immutable storage, MFA, and as of now with the version 8, we have come up with the syslog integration as well. That is also available now. Yeah, everything is included, as you can see on the left hand side. This is our responsibility. We manage service delivery, and it on the right hand side it is the end user responsibility to create the backup, to restore the backup, and do the e-discovery. So I can show you like a little bit of USPs, what make us difference than the competitors. Okay, now this is the dashboard. and this is one of the USP of VDC. If you see in the administrator, you have to just toggle the button, enable it, disable it, what all permissions you want to assign it, right? Just create the role as per your preference. Okay, for example, there is an IT department, for the example there is an HR department. Create separate role, align the particular roles and responsibility, and add this, map this role with the required administrator or required user. Okay, is that simple. So the RBAC is like next level in this VDC platform. Then another USP is search, advanced search option. So in the primary sector, if you see that, just define your criteria. For example, mail is coming from Jigar Thakkar. Secondary criteria in the body, it should contain confidential. Just click on search button. You will be able to search from the backup repository. Oh yes, this is the username from which the mail has been triggered, and this is the body content. Just click on the view result. You are able to see the mail content. Just right click and click on restore. It will restore to the original location. It will help you to restore in the different location as per your desire, or you can download as an email file. Okay, is that easy, to be sure. I'll just go through you this particular interactive demo because rather than just staying with the PPT, I just wanted to go through you with the console. So I'm just making it fast little bit with the interest of time as well. So as a service or manage it yourself, so it's up to you whether you manage the infrastructure by your own and offer M365 backup as a services to your end customers. And if you don't have that particular capability to handle this accountability of the customer data in your own data center, and if you want, you can leverage us. You can sell our backup as a services to your end customers. Okay, so onboarding is quite simple. If you are existing pro partners, so you know that what is Pulse portal. Okay, just go onboard your customer for the VDC and ask them to just schedule your backup and start consuming our particular, just add the users and start taking the backups. So point number two, automatically once the users are getting onboarded on the VDC, your Pulse portal will automatically will get updated with the points, how many points are being consumed by the end user. So there is another relaxation that automatic that consumption will happen. No manual intervention is required in case of Veeam Data Cloud. Okay, so just happy to say, no third-party backup vendor protects more than 24 millions. And yes, we have crossed this number. Okay, we are protecting for 24 million plus M365 users on Veeam Data Cloud. Okay, I'll quickly go through that particular console. Just allow me a minute. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, Kira.
Okay, so this is the dashboard. Once you log into the VDC, Veeam Data Cloud, here you can see that backup status, number of backups users are protected. Protected means these are the licensed users. Okay, for suppose one customer comes to you that we have 300 users, but we want to only protect about 10 users right now. You can, this is pay as you go kind of model. Okay, ask them, just create a policy for the 10 users. That's all. Once they see the value in Veeam Data Cloud, they will automatically increase that number to 10 to 100, and they are not at all required to inform you. It will automatically get updated in the Pulse portal. So and so number of user has been onboarded, and these are the point consumptions of the end users. This is the backup retention, how long the backup should retain, and the current backup retention of the data which was taken backup on the first day. Okay, so it is like 3 years and 10 months now on backup residing on this particular bucket. M365 license activity, just to keep aware that end user, this is your current license consumption on the M365 level, and how many we are consuming as in uh, current license, how many we are making utilize. Okay, so the license model is quite simple, active users license. Okay, so for that, I have just pasted mine and my sales counter Chetan Nagpal email ID in the chat box. Please come up with your queries for the licensing. We'll have a detailed discussion over there. Okay. If you scroll down a little bit, these are my four pillars: Outlook, OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams. And little more scroll down, recent activity performed by whom, at what time. This is only for like auditing purposes. Okay, even you can export to CSV file so that you can scroll down one by one what is happening. And if you notice, there is no delete button here. Once the data is getting backed up, it will retain for the retention what is defined. There is no delete button. Okay, one of the major use cases I'm listening from multiple partners and the customers nowadays. If suppose my mail is coming at 10 o'clock to my end one of my user, and he's deleting that particular email. Okay, so that email which resides under the delete items, we do backup that. If suppose he's deleting from the deleted items, we do backup permanent deleted items. Usually, permanent deleted items are not being allowed to the end users. It's written with the uh, admin people. Okay, even though they are managed to arrange the credentials somewhere and they try to delete from this. So by default, once this particular user Tavish will delete the item from the permanent deleted items, it will go to the deleted items of the global admin recycle bin, and even we backed up that also. So there is zero chance of data loss. Okay, usually we run these backups once in a day, that is 24 hours, and you can come to like 4 hours in a day, and that is quite suffice. Okay, so it is like exception case where customers are coming up to you like I need a backup every 8 hours in a day. Okay, like 3 restore points. So we have to in general ask them, do a discovery call, why it is required, what is the purpose. Because even though 24 hours is quite suffice, we are taking backup of everything, then what's the problem? We have to uh, cross question them and understand the what's the mindset they have. Okay, so if you go to the setting and click on the billing part, you can see what is the license consumption is from the date when it was started. Okay, and this is the license count as of now. And if you go how many license users are available on the VDC onboarded, just click on this licensed users, and if you see the protected one, they are the licensed users. Okay, unprotected means they are inactive or not being backed up now. Okay, so these are the backup repositories which is usually selected during the onboarding of the customer. For suppose your customers can reside out of India. In the VCSP model, we are quite flexible. We don't ask where your customer resides. Yeah, it's up to you. It is quite confidential. You do not need to share with us. That's correct. So just basically like they are in Singapore, for example, just go create a bucket, select the Singapore region. That's all. Select the retention period. See, these are multiple buckets like with 1 year retention, 10-year retention, depends on customer to customer. Then self-service portal, you can align that. Yeah, and the security stuff what I was talking, that is the adding the syslog server. Okay, and this is nothing but the notification, who should receive the notification from you. So if you ask me, policy creation is that simple. Like just create a new policy, assign the name, just select the repository what you have already created while onboarding the customer. Click on the backed up data. Select the entire backup organization, or customer want to select some particular stuffs like M365 users. I just need 10 users need to be selected. Click on them. If you don't want to back up their OneDrive and personal side, just make a selection over there and click on OK. Just click on create. It's that easy. Okay. And if you browse through what data is required, so just click on Outlook. Once this is open, select the user, select the restore point, backdated on 1st April. I need this data from this particular timeline. Just click on OK. It will browse automatically. Just select the inbox or draft or junk email whatsoever your desire is. Just select the matter and right click and restore. That's all. It's that easy. Okay, so by this I'll be winding up because we are already crossed 5 minutes. So yes, please. So please mail us for any more detail on licensing part and everything. We'll be happy to come up with you. Okay, and
Thank
this is
you,
a
Jigar.
and I'm telling you, just grab the opportunity and onboard as more as you can. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Jigar. And yeah, we'll take any Q&A for some time if anybody have. And I do also posted VUG India community group in the chat box. I request everybody to join if you are new to the community.
Yes, please.
Okay, if there is no any
Okay.
other questions, I think we can wind up.
Yeah. I'm so sorry for that connectivity problem.
That's okay, no problem.